Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here on the Juicy Living Tour. And today I'm in Berkeley, California with delicious, juicy, amazing, spontaneous, wild, crazy, because this is going to be a juicy topic. Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm with Sarina. Hello.
Hello.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, my beautiful co-creator, because this is not your usual everyday topic, especially in the English language, because we French, we love to talk about sex, but this is not just sex. Far from it. This is really the union, the reunion, this magical, beautiful energy that is, how do you call that? That is actually circulating once one really make love to another from a whole other level, right?
Yeah, everything you just said.
Can you teach that? What a great life.
Well, I feel like I have an opportunity to make a difference for folks. I have a little different angle on it. A lot of the other folks out there that also feel passionate about bringing romance and intimacy back into the bedroom, they come from a different place than I do. I'm actually sort of scientific about it. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds really weird, but I learned that energy is real. It can be monitored. It can be felt. If you have the right equipment, it can be seen. And that having a healthy sex life, even if it's just you, by the way, we say single cultivation, okay, is really important, because what the energy of an orgasm does is so ridiculously profound that, I had to get involved, but I got involved with it more, like I said, as a practitioner and a teacher than just as a female, interested in something fun. And what I learned is that love can be the most healing thing in our lives. And you can bring it into the bedroom, or you can just raise the energy, in other ways. But I've never seen healthier people than those that embrace love.
Yeah.
Now, if you can really harness that and move into this higher space of orgasm, what you're able to do with that energy is quite profound.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen anything quite like it. And by the way, the energy of an orgasm without the energy of the heart blended with it, it's not the same.
Okay, so we're going to get into that, but first let's go to the basic love. What do you mean by love? It's not really doing something for another that we don't want, or like those younger girls doing things like it's not even sex, like a blowjob, like if it was a handshake. Like, what is really love? What is this big word that's been misused, I feel?
It starts with the self, and any psychologist is going to tell you that. I don't think these girls in high school, unfortunately junior high sometimes, these young girls would be offering their body in exchange for stuff, homework, whatever, popularity. I don't think they would be using their body in this way as a commodity if they had self-love. And this has to start at home with our parents. So we start with the most basic, and that is self-respect and self-love. And that is exactly what I mean. Just self-love, self-respect. I care for myself too much to allow these bad things to happen to me. Yeah. To think that my body has no value, my heart, my mind have no value, other than to get my homework done. So we start with that. Then love as we get, then we have love for our parents and our family. That can grow into love for our community. And that's real. That's real. It's connection. And if a person is lucky enough to cultivate a loving relationship with another human being, well, that's another kind of love. One of the things I've learned from traveling is that in some countries, they have all these different words for the word love. Mm-hmm. In America, you love French fries as much as you love your husband, okay? Because there's only one word. Yeah. It's love. Yeah. And we love it all. I would love to have dinner with you. I would love to kill you. So that's a little bit strange, and I think we get confused about that. So when I talk about blending the energy of the heart or love, it's multi-layered, but it all comes down to good connection with the self-respect. And for those who have faith in, a creator, I think that that love between yourself and your source, whatever that looks like, it could be. Sometimes it's some of the most profound love I've ever seen. It gets people through heartbreak and loss.
Let's go into the orgasm and how orgasm actually could be used. The energy of an orgasm can be not transmuted but reused to regenerate the cells. Because this is really what you talk about in your workshops, in your books. This is really amazing conversation to have. Not a common one.
No, I guess it's really not. And it's funny for me because it's such a part of my life that I don't think about it so much anymore. Of course I massage my breasts. It's good for you on so many levels. And does it stimulate the ovaries and the uterus? Yes. Can you feel uterine contractions after a few minutes of breast massage? Yes. So is it sensual? Yes. Does it produce estrogen in the body? Like if a baby was suckling, it produces estrogen? Yes. Does that help to make me a little more feminine in that moment? Yes. So, like I said, I have this scientific point of view, and I forget that it is a very unusual conversation. But it's huge, and it's changed my life and the lives of my students or just women that I know that do these practices profoundly. So let's talk about the most exciting part, and that is this energy of an orgasm. Well, I think most of you women would agree that when you have an orgasm, you have the sensation of energy coming out, right? Yeah. If it had a flow, it would be flowing out, okay? As would, any kind of liquids or anything like that. Well, that's a contraction. And a contraction is a physical thing that could be trained to go the other way. Now, I could sit here and talk to you about, what happens when you raise your vibration and you look at cells under a microscope, and I encourage you to do that and research and study all this stuff on your own and see what health benefits a well-balanced, emotionally well-balanced man or woman could derive from raising their vibration with orgasmic energy. Again, you have to be healthy. If you're not healthy, you're just going to grow whatever's in there. Sexual energy is neutral. It doesn't just grow positive or just grow negative. Okay? It's a neutral energy that just grows whatever it touches. It's sort of like drinking a pot of espresso. Okay? It's going to grow whatever's in there.
Like fertilizer for...
That is a perfect example.
Oh.
It's like fertilizer. So you better be sure you know what
a natural one.
Well, yeah, and you better be sure you know what you've planted before you put that fertilizer in there. Because if you plant something horrible that's going to kill everything else in the garden, big mistake. Just don't put fertilizer in yet. Wait. And there are practices to help a person's garden be ready to be fertilized. Yeah. Okay? We do that for a while. We don't just start with sex.
Yeah, that's part of the belief system of the clearing, kind of a detox first.
Well, you can call it a belief system or you can call it science. I mean, it's just based on 5,000 years of watching people do this, okay? If you are an unhappy person and then you pull this orgasmic energy into your body, you're going to grow that emotion because it's imbalanced. If you're imbalanced, you're going to grow the imbalance. But what if you were balanced? What if your joy and pain were, balanced and you actually could choose every once in a while how you want to be? What if you grew that? That could be terrific. And that's one of the potentials, okay, of this sexual energy. So, I want to...
How does that work to reverse it in? I mean, how do you technically do that and bring it to the heart even, or to every cell, or you share it? What do you do with this thing?
Again, that's part of what you're going to have to train. I'll give you like one thing a person can do, but please, don't start playing with this too much without training. I give you a little bit of information here, and don't go crazy with it, okay? So let's just say you're a male or a female, and you become aware that you have a path that runs up the back of your spine, over your head, comes into your mouth, connects via your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth, then comes down the front, okay, and just basically makes a circle or an orbit around your body, up the back and down the front. Well, now all of a sudden, you have a place to move chi or move energy, right? Huh. From now, what would it happen if every time you circulated your energy in this orbit, you actually refined it or cleaned it, and it became lighter and more balanced, and you could use it for other stuff? Huh. Then what if you were trained to save your energy or store, we say, the energy in your belly? So it can't go crazy in there. There's just, you make a little nest, you put a little pearl there, put all your energy right there. It's not going to give you a headache. It's not going to make your heart race. It's not going to make you act weird. It's a great place to store your energy. Now, what if you had sex like every day and you kept pulling this? Okay, now say you have an orgasm, and we're going to train you. I'm not going to say too much more. How to reverse that flow. It takes a little practice. Oh, you have to practice being pleasured. Okay, bummer. So what if you learned how to pull the energy out, this sexual energy, this reproductive energy that makes life? Men make life with sperm. Women make life with their eggs. Okay, what if you could harness that and the orgasmic energy, because that feels good, and pull it into your body, circulate it, refine it, store it, so you can use it whenever you want by using your mind. You want to heal something, you want to add energy to something. What if it was just that simple?
Let's speak for men out there. Actually, not all ejaculations are orgasm, are they?
No, and actually with young guys we see that they'll have an ejaculation and they miss the orgasm part. You know, it happens all the time. Orgasm. I just made a new word. Orgasm and ejaculation for a man are two separate bodily functions, and frankly, they are for a woman as well, too. By the way, most women are not do not have ejaculatory orgasms. Most of them do not. Most of them have an orgasm without ejaculating through the urethra. Okay.
I had those conversations with my French videos about femme fontaine, we call it. You know, the fountain. Yeah. Which is very. By the way, is that something quite common, or that every woman can access?
That is, it depends on who you ask. Most of us are going to tell you it is such an emotional experience that no, not every woman can have it, because you really have to let go. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Largely because the sensation of urination goes along with it, and most women, the moment that steps in, they clamp down. They don't even know they're doing it. Okay, you really have to relax and sort of be guided through it, unless it just happens to you quite naturally. And yeah, there is a difference between urination and female ejaculation. Yeah. Big one. Okay. So I love sitting at a table with experienced practitioners who talk about how this woman gushes all over them. And I say, I hate to have to tell you this, guys, that was urine. It was probably urine and some of the ejaculatory stuff, but female ejaculation actually is a very small amount of fluid. It's not this huge experience, and then they go and research and find out, oh God, she was right. Yeah, it's so for women, it's out there. Okay. For men, it's more accessible. Okay.
So this was a little bracket conversation. I know we could go on forever in this female ejaculation. So back to men.
So for men, this is much easier. I mean, we can literally use 2 fingers and put it on a very specific, they call it the $1 million point, and you can literally just stop it. Stop the fluid from coming out. Now, we train them how to clamp down and do certain things so that after a while, they just do it with their mind and a little bit of breath and muscle, okay? Then they can have the orgasm but not ejaculate. And if they don't ejaculate, they can sustain an erection longer. If you can sustain an erection longer, you could have another orgasm. And if you can, so thus the books, The Multi-Orgasmic Man, The Multi-Orgasmic Woman, The Multi-Orgasmic Couple, written by Mantak Chia. It's totally real. Now, but see, here's the thing. Why? If all you want to do is sustain an erection for a long time, you could just be with somebody you don't like, or somebody that doesn't really turn you on.
But do you even go there if you're not actually, if it's not linked to another practice, or I guess it's something like you practice the Tao, or I guess it's not just something that most people just want to achieve like that, or actually can achieve without a certain regular practice, and another way of seeing things and another way of seeing this sexual energy.
Well, your curiosity makes a lot of sense. And here's why we teach people how to work. We say single cultivation first. First, you work on yourself, okay? So a man, we'll go back to that conversation, he will learn how to raise his sexual energy up about 70% alone, okay? Clamp down and pull that energy. You see, 70% of an orgasm, go to the... Let me just try saying that one more time. 70% of the way to orgasm feels really good. It feels great. And you have raised your energy. You can feel the vibration in your cells. You can feel it. So we stop and pull it in and circulate. Put it in the belly. Now let's do it again. And then let's do it again. Now, if they want to have an ejaculation on the third or fourth or fifth time, they've still stored some of that life-giving energy instead of just ejaculating it all out. 8 to 10 million healthy sperm and a healthy ejaculation. I think I'm losing the ability to speak. 8 to 10 million sperm and a healthy ejaculation. Each one of those sperm beats its tail so fast that in order to see it, you've got to film it and slow it down, okay? That's a lot of energy, Lilou. That's a lot of energy. Yeah. Now, what if they could harness it and bring it back into their body? Wow, how strong, how smart could they be?
So that's a training. It's not just, what I mean is that it's not just physical or just not knowing. It's practice. And does it come with this really, this philosophy? Or how does it come with a way of being every day beyond just that act?
Taoism is only a philosophy. That's all it is, okay? So most of us, as we train the physical aspect of the way of nature, right? That's the Tao is the way of nature, or we say the way without force, okay? So as we are applying this knowledge to the body, we are also learning. We're understanding, well, why is the element of the heart fire? What's fire? What does that mean? What's the difference between a forest fire that burns out of control and an ember that hardly needs anything to fuel it, but it could keep going forever? So, yeah. And again, that's why you can't just read books on these formulas and technologies. You absolutely have to have a teacher. When you smile to your heart, breathe in love, exhale hatred and cruelty, you're going to need somebody to talk to a little bit about what happened to you when you had that experience. Do we tell you how you have to feel? No. This is not a religion. No. We just give you some ideas about how we see things and our relationship with the universe and nature and other human beings. We talk about some philosophy. And then if you'd like to go out and live in that philosophy for a day and see how it feels, maybe you want to get up tomorrow and do it again.
You've been able to reverse the aging process. Yes. Explain to us your view on that and what you have done, even with your periods, and how you were able to redirect it so it nourishes your cells. Was that what's happening, or your organs?
There are a number of practices that I would bundle into a day, okay? So I don't think it's just the sexual energy work, although I have to admit, it seems like I turned a big corner when I cleaned out the uterus and I got rid of all my negative beliefs. I think for a lot of us, the reason that we age is stress, okay? Yeah. And if I'm subconsciously or consciously walking around here not trusting women, not trusting men, not trusting myself, the world, after a while, it just tears me down. I get sick. It ages me, Okay? That and food are the two biggest things that I see aging people. I have had to say to students, I can't help you anymore. I'm sorry, but if you can't meditate your way out of a situation, if you can't meditate your way to some level of peace or balance, I'm not your girl. You really need to go speak to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and you need to take this to a pro. Then sometimes they come back a couple years later and we try again. So I think that these practices work on so many levels. One of them is just if you're not miserable, you look in the mirror, you see a younger man or you see a younger woman, period. If you study cellular division, depression, and severe anger, they shut down certain receptors on our cells, like receptors for absorbing nutrition, for example. Well, then we stay alive through cellular division, okay? So let's just say you had a really bad heartbreak, and now you've kind of shut down some of the receptors in the cells for nutrition, and now you're going to divide those cells. Now you're going to make new cells that don't absorb nutrition. And I'm telling you, I watch people just die of a broken heart. They're just malnourished to death, okay? So, at the most basic level, that's how this practice could facilitate years of younger, more radiant health. On a more complicated level, if you really got deeply into the practices and started doing what we've been talking about, which is adding energy, like orgasmic energy, to the program, now you're talking about consciously raising the vibration of your cells. I mean, it's so individual, you won't even know how it's going to affect you until you do it.
How does it get any better than that?
I got to tell you, I'm a fairly vain woman. I mean, I am accustomed to my lovely hair and my boobs and, this little body. Yes, I work for it. I move, I eat well. But honestly, nothing has made me more radiant and made me feel better about the way I look in the mirror than understanding a little bit about biochemistry, hormones. I mean, come on, women look different after menopause. They do. And one of the practices that we have, you could either menstruate less or you could just stop. Okay? Of course I work with women that have already gone through menopause. And we just learn how to balance the hormones and feel more feminine. And it works. But if you never had to go through that, if your biological alarm clock, that one, never went off, maybe you could stay looking like this for a really long time. I've seen it. I want that.
Feeling good, too. I mean, not just looking good, but feeling good.
Yeah. The energy is ridiculous, I hang out with people in their 30s and I have all this energy. And, when I'm in France, actually, I stay with a gal that gives me all this raw sprouted food. Then I teach a lot. I work a lot while I'm in France. I can sleep 4 hours a night after night after night. If I combine live food with these practices, it is ridiculous how much energy I have.
Yeah. So can you start an orgasm without the partner too, and kind of do that every day?
Yes, absolutely.
Very handy.
Yeah. It takes a level of self-awareness and self-mastery, I would have to say. But I can, there's a couple of really beautiful meditations that have been shared with me from my teacher to raise that energy simply by thinking about stuff. Maybe you think about Brad Pitt or,
imagination.
Well, think about it. Now, if you could just have these thoughts and then feel that energy, grab the energy and pull it inside, it's like a power nap. I mean, you can do this in 5 minutes. It's healthy energy. I mean, unless you're seeing...
Bottle it up and sell this thing.
Yeah, well, if you do that, I'll buy it. I don't think so. It's all self-generated.
Yeah, and a lot of chi, huh?
That's all it is.
Yeah.
In the end, we don't... In the beginning, we practice with a lot of breath and muscle, okay? A lot of this. In the end, it's all self-generated. It's you create the chi, or you pull the chi in from a tree. That's real, okay? That's why we feel good sitting next to this tree, right? And then you learn to move it wherever you want it to go, simply with the power of your mind. And that's the fun, part about this science of quantum physics and the Taoist principles and how they apply to quantum physics. This is practical applications of quantum physics when you study Tao, okay? Okay, we know that what you image, you create. Now, how about if somebody came along and told you what to image? I just about fell off my chair when I figured that out. Like, you mean if I just do this, I get that? Okay. And sure enough, here's the thing. Here's your secret. It's all about your intention. Yeah. You want to stay young and vibrant and healthy, then you're going to find your way. Whether it's my way or somebody else's way, you're going to find it if you want it bad enough. And if you want to have the kind of sex where you're orgasmic and you feel really energized and good about it, you're going to find it. That's just what human beings do. Once we set our mind to something and our intention is clear, and your intention can't be, I have horrible sex and I wish it was different, because then you're just going to have horrible sex and wish it was different. No, you have to. That's why you need a teacher. You see, you need somebody to come along and say, no. You just wished for bad sex. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Now, let's write a new sentence. And let's put that new sentence somewhere where you can see it every day. You see, that's why we need a teacher.
Tell us, to finish this conversation, to end this beautiful conversation, to a heart-to-heart connection. How does that feel? How do you get there?
About 5 years ago, my teacher started talking about the resonation of the human heart, and that it resonates at a higher vibration than almost anything else, okay? And when you add the vibration of an open heart to just about anything, it's the equivalent of adding sexual energy almost. It's different, but it actually raises everything that much. So I began to experiment with this. And I actually took 2 years off of work because I realized that my heart, it could be better, okay? It could have been better. My work had come to a standstill until that heart was open and free and trusting and could resonate at a high enough vibration that it would enhance everything else I touch, all right? So first I had to do that. I'd like to say it had nothing to do with sex, but it really felt like it did to me. It felt like my heart issues were all wrapped up in my sexuality and intimacy issues. It won't be like that for everybody, but it was for me. And then at the end of that, I was absolutely shocked at what consciously smiling to my heart and adding that energy to my sexual experience. I was absolutely shocked at what that did. Okay, so now I can have the kind of orgasm where I orgasm outward, because sometimes you just want a quickie. You just want to do that. I mean, we're not so holy all the time. We're not monks and nuns. Like I said, you can wear a costume, hang from the chandelier. It doesn't matter. What matters is where the heart is, and are you really connecting to that person, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours, and it doesn't matter. If you can't connect with the heart, you get a partial experience. And frankly, that partial experience pales in comparison to a full heart-to-heart connection experience. So when I teach, I have to talk about this. These women that I talk to that are not orgasmic, they don't love themselves. And you know what? Half of them don't love their husband anymore either. And then they want to know, why can't I have an orgasm? Well, you're pretty shut down. Okay? That's why. And then, they try some exercises, and we don't just go right for the orgasm. We go for a good feeling. Yeah. And then grow from there. Yeah. But without
yes to that beautiful feeling.
Yes.
Well, yes is a big portion of it.
Yeah, you're a smart girl. Yeah.
I figured at least that one. Oh my God.
Yeah. See? And I don't know how long it took you to figure that out, but that's pretty huge. That could change your life. Okay? And what if...
Biggest tip.
What if what you were saying yes to was love?
Yeah.
What if somebody just came along and said, I see you and all of your weaknesses and all of your strengths, and I just love you. I just think you're wonderful, and I want to be near you. Saying yes to that for a lot of women is not that easy.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it. So, aren't you smart?
Aren't we having a delicious conversation? Oh, I want more. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed even the location here and this beautiful wind and this type of conversation that really feel bring the world to another place. And because it's time to bring that type of energy too, and that vision that we have received from our ancestors. It's time to bring it here and now. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. And to all the beautiful co-creators out there, thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all your juiciness, and enjoy this ride, this beautiful ride of life. Big kiss. Bye.
And love as we get, then we have love for our parents and our family that can grow into love for our community. And that's real. That's real. It's connection. And if a person is lucky enough to cultivate a loving relationship with another human being, well, that's another kind of love. One of the things I've learned from traveling is that in some countries, they have all these different words for the word love. Mm-hmm. In America, you love French fries as much as you love your husband, okay? Because there's only one word. Yeah. It's love. Yeah. And we love it all. I would love to have dinner with you. I would love to kill you. So that's a little bit strange, and I think we get confused about that. Yeah. So when I talk about blending the energy of the heart or love, it's multi-layered, but it all comes down to good connection with the self-respect. And for those who have faith in, a creator.
Or like those younger girls doing things like it's not even sex, like a blowjob, like if it was a handshake. Like, what is really love? What is this big word that's been misused, I feel?
It starts with the self, and any psychologist is going to tell you that. I don't think these girls in high school, unfortunately junior high sometimes, these young girls would be offering their body in exchange for stuff, homework, whatever, popularity. I don't think they would be using their body in this way as a commodity if they had self-love. And this has to start at home with our parents. So we start with the most basic, and that is self-respect and self-love. And that is exactly what I mean. Just self-love, self-respect. I care for myself too much to allow these bad things to happen to me. Yeah. To think that my body has no value, my heart, my mind have no value, other than to get my homework done. So we start with that.
Other level, right?
Yeah, everything you just said.
You teach that. What a great life.
Well, I feel like I have an opportunity to make a difference for folks. I have a little different angle on it. A lot of the other folks out there that also feel passionate about bringing romance and intimacy back into the bedroom, they come from a different place than I do. I'm actually sort of scientific about it. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds really weird, but I learned that energy is real. It can be monitored. It can be felt. If you have the right equipment, it can be seen. And that having a healthy sex life, even if it's just you, by the way, we say single cultivation, okay, is really important, because what the energy of an orgasm does is so ridiculous.
Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here on the Juicy Living Tour. And today I'm in Berkeley, California with delicious, juicy, amazing, spontaneous, wild, crazy, because this is going to be a juicy topic. Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm with Sarina. Hello.
Hello.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, my beautiful co-creator, because this is not your usual everyday topic, especially in the English language, because we French, we love to talk about sex, but this is not just sex. Far from it. This is really the union, the reunion, this magical, beautiful energy that is, how do you call that? That is actually circulating once one really make love to another from a whole.
Ridiculously profound that, I had to get involved, but I got involved with it more, like I said, as a practitioner and a teacher than just as a female, interested in something fun. And what I learned is that love can be the most healing thing in our lives. And you can bring it into the bedroom, or you can just raise the energy, in other ways. But I've never seen healthier people than those that embrace love.
Yeah.
Now, if you can really harness that and move into this higher space of orgasm, what you're able to do with that energy is quite profound.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen anything quite like it. And by the way, the energy of an orgasm without the energy of the heart blended with it, it's not the same.
Okay, so we're going to get into that, but first let's go to the basic love. What do you mean by love? It's not really doing something for another that we don't want.